Welcome in, everybody, to a Football Friday edition of Birds 365 with some fun and stuff on the agenda today. It's rookie minicamp kicking off in Eagle Land. Johnny Mac, how you doing on this Football Friday, brother?
Yeah, there's going to be a semblance of football at least later this afternoon at the NovaCare Complex. So it'll be good to see the rookie players, rookie tryout players, new numbers. I know that fires people up. I could care less. Some of them are out there, some of them aren't, but I know that gets people excited. And my always, beware of the jersey buying early in the process because there could be number changes down the road. So I throw that out there every year.
Yeah. Jahad Campbell, I think, is going to be number 30. Not many like that number. I do like that number. All right. That was my number when I was a goalie back in the day in hockey. So I like that number. We will follow that. John, who you most excited to see today? Campbell won't really be out there. So is it default to Makuba? Is it Ty Robinson? What's piquing your interest as you head into rookie minicamp that kicks off today?
No, it's definitely Makuba, not just because it goes to that situation, 1-2, but because you don't get to see a lot when there's no pads on with defensive front people and offensive linemen. So you got a feel for how big they are. Imagine everybody's going to be pretty impressed with Ty Robinson's physique, but other than that, I don't think you can get a good feel for that kind of stuff. Whereas defensive backs and receivers, a little bit more. So I think you're always tend to lean towards that, sort of like the world of football, what the world is becoming. In the offseason in high school football, college football, all they do is play 7-on-7. And that's why, because you can't put on the pads and bang around. So can't see the physicality of offensive or defensive front people.
Yeah, I think a lot of the Eagles fans are excited to see the guys out there, the new draft picks, plenty of guys coming in as well. An Australian rugby player coming in, Carson Patu. So plenty of fun stuff to discuss. John, what time does all the stuff kick off today? When can the people expect to see some of the posts that will come out from down at rookie minicamp today?
Practice is not until I believe 1:50-ish. There's going to be some interviews before practice with some of the rookies. So, you might see some stuff from that, but actual practice is scheduled to begin at 1:15 and at 1:50, excuse me. And it's more like a regular season practice, not a training camp practice. That means reporters like me are only allowed during warm-ups and individual drills. So it's not like training camp where we get to watch the entire practice. So understand that as well.
So it's interesting. It's that late because I think it's supposed to be a hot day today, John, down in Philly. Might need to get your sunblock out, brother. I think it's going to be
80s. Yeah, I mean that's nothing compared to training camp. So yeah, sometimes they'll move up practice, which is in the morning anyway in training camp. But when it gets really hot, but yeah, 83, you got to get out there at 83.
Yeah,
not great for me, but they got to be able to handle that.
Right.
Bunch of 20-year-old, 21, 22-year-old guys, so they'll be fine.
Yeah, good stuff there. We'll see how it all plays out. We got a great show planned for everybody this morning. We got John Stoneless coming up at 8:20. All right, our good friend John. We haven't talked to John in a little bit, but I always love getting his takes on the team. So we'll talk to him about the Eagles NFL draft, what he thought of what they've done so far in the offseason, and what it looks like in the future here with the Philadelphia Eagles, what his thoughts are in the upcoming Philadelphia Eagles season. So plenty of stuff to discuss, John, but obviously that rookie camp is where everybody's sights are focused on today and through the weekend. Now it's today and tomorrow, but there's no media availability tomorrow, which means what? We won't see basically anything, right, from the practice.
Well, you'll see stuff from Eagles.com, state-run media.
Yes, right, state-run media.
Yeah, they'll have plenty of stuff up. That's the goal, to control the message. So they'll have plenty of positivity for the cheerleading crowd.
Yeah, so we'll see that. We'll see how that all comes out. John, what rookie here I think the top three are really the main culprits, and maybe not even Mac McWilliams, but
Yeah, I'm going to Mac. See how Small Munden moves. What his injury
yeah, that's
situation
true.
is. The guys like that. But again, Kyle McCord obviously throwing the football. That's going to be a big thing. Should have mentioned that early on. But yeah, the rest of the guys, defensive front, Ty Robinson, offensive lineman, Drew Kendall, Miles Hinton, Cameron Williams, yeah, and Antoine Powell Ryland.
Yeah, the lines are tough because there's no pads,
Yeah,
as you
there's
mentioned.
no
So
pads.
those
Yeah.
are those
So
are
I
rough.
mean, people might be impressed by Antoine Powell Ryland today. His movement skills, and you know, then you say, all right, young buck, 250 pounds. Here's
Right.
Lane Johnson.
Get
Good luck
around one
with
of the
it.
best left
And to
best
be fair,
tackles in football.
he's not going to be repping against Lane that much. So good for him. But
I think that's a good thing though. If he does, man, get him better, man. That's how you get better. That's how you practice versus Lane Johnson. Any guy you play on Sunday probably is not going to be as good as Lane Johnson, with the exception of a very small number of people. So,
and Jordan's in that category too.
yeah, Jordan. I mean, a lot of the Eagles' offensive lines in that category. So, and same goes for the corners, right? Same goes for Makuba and McWilliams. Now, Makuba's a safety, I understand, but you line up against AJ Brown, you're not going to see many receivers that are that good. All right. Did you hear? I saw a little thing that came out. I don't know if it was recently, but Jahan Dotson was on a podcast with somebody, and he was talking about a practice story from AJ Brown, and basically was just saying this guy's basically the greatest receiver I've ever seen.
Yeah,
He did a whole practice with one hand or something, and Dotson's like, yeah, there's levels to this. AJ Brown is insane.
Yeah, I think I always say it, and people, for some weird reason, because I think AJ gets himself in trouble on social media every once in a while. But talking to players in the locker room, when it's about a year ago where I shifted to, all right, best pure football player on the Eagles that we do, that the list that Ed and I do.
Yeah, right.
AJ's number one, and part of that is the way his teammates talk about him. I mean, it's just, you hear stuff like that all the time. Yeah, he's tough to deal with. And his peers know it. And that's what always stands out. I tell that story all the time. When your peers are in awe of you,
yeah, right,
you're good.
Because these are the best of the best, and then there's a very small portion who are the best of the best of the best. So AJ Brown definitely slots into there. So we'll see what happens all today, John. Any undrafted free agents piquing your interest today? I tell you what, there's a lot of hype in Eagle land about Malik Carr, the tight end. People are jacked up about him.
I think that one guy brought it up.
I don't know. I've seen a couple other. I've gotten a couple other comments. Xander, have you watched Malik Carr tape? I have not watched it yet, but people are excited.
So I get it. I've been through this. I tell my Kyrie Saber story all the time.
Yeah.
The guy didn't even get signed as a priority undrafted free agent. And I don't remember who said that in our chat, and I can't pick on him even if I wanted to. And I'm not trying to pick on him. I'm like, replacement for Dallas Goedert, Malik Carr. He's not even on the roster. He's got to make the roster. He's got 2 days to make the roster. I mean, look, everybody, and Nick has done it, can point to Adam Thielen, who I think is going to enter his 12th or 13th season. It's possible. He proves it. But, I mean, replacement for Dallas Goedert, then we got to go to our Harrison Bryant guy and say, yeah, you got to get past. You got to start dealing with Harrison Bryant and Colin Grant.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
First of all,
why would people hype Carr? We have Bryant. Look, he's here.
First of all, Malik Carr's got to make the team this weekend. He's got to get an off-season roster spot. Like, run down the list alphabetically. Darius Cooper, Lance Dixon, Maxon Hook, Charles Jackson, Brandon Johnson, Montrell Johnson. BJ Mays, Taylor Morin, Holland Pierce, Derek Powell. You know what they have all in common? They were actually signed by the Philadelphia Eagles as undrafted free agents. Malik's got to get there first.
Right. Boy, it feels like, John, it feels like we're coming to camp this year with a lot of names. Are we already at the 90 name threshold that they start with?
I mean, I got to do the math on that. They're
gotta
close.
Be close.
I mean,
though,
you're
right?
always they're probably at 88, but I haven't counted up or something. Yeah, they're very close to 90. They might have a spot or two open for the Malik Carrs of the world. You know, somebody who can open their eyes over the weekend. But he's got to get by that hurdle. And please don't start talking about replacing Dallas Goedert
with Malik Carr. I think that's where our Harrison Bryant fan is correct. There's a better chance of Bryant doing that than Malik Carr. Maybe not a good chance on that either, but
a much better chance for Harrison Bryant if Dallas Goedert. I mean, people, Grant Calcaterra might as well be George Kittle compared to Malik Carr. Come on, let's settle down, people.
Let's see what happens out of that. We're going to see what
Where
happens.
have you seen that, by the way? I'm interested.
Where? What? The Malik Carr stuff?
Yeah.
Just comments on Jay. Not live comments. Like after the fact, people comment, "Hey, Xander, did you watch the Malik Carr tape and stuff?" So we had a couple of them. I probably got 3 or 4 of them. And once I get a couple of them, I'm like, all right, let me check this guy out.
He's big. He's athletic. He's more of a king size receiver type, as you know, wide receiver, tight end hybrid. So people like that. He's more athletic than a normal tight end because he's not a normal tight end. That's part of the problem. You know, you might have to get by Pumper's guy, Johnny Wilson. You might have to move to wide receiver. So who knows? He's got a long way to go, is all I'm trying to say.
Harrison Bryant, how much impact will that guy have this year on the team? Because we got, JD3 has got me jacked up about this guy, but 27.
I mean, is Dallas here? If Dallas is here, not much. Then he's fighting for his life.
Yeah.
Then he's fighting for his roster life with Kylan Granson, who got about $400,000 more money. So that tells you right off the bat the Eagles. Now, if he outplays them in training camp, the Eagles aren't going to say, "Well, we paid this guy. We're paying this guy for it." They're not going to keep him for that. Right. It's a rounding error, but it does say that Kylan Granson is probably starting a little bit ahead in the process. So he's got to beat him out. But look, I said, if Dallas Goedert is here, the Eagles have improved at tight end.
I agree.
Because Granson and Bryant, or Bryant and Granson, are much better than EJ Jenkins and anybody was, handling the tight end 3 spot last year. But if Goddard's not here, oof.
Where are you on Calcaterra?
He's fine, but he's a backup.
Yeah, that's exactly
right. If he's a starter and he bumps up to being the starter, if Dallas isn't here,
right,
that's not good. It's fine as a backup. And then I think Granson and Bryant are pretty darn good for a third tight end. As a 2, dips a little bit.
Any questions, John, that you have in mind right now that you want to get an answer to as you go down there today for rookie minicamp?
Yeah, well, I mean, Howie was doing the rounds yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I hope, I don't know why anybody is talking about Jahad Campbell for week 1. It's like an absurd conversation.
Howie basically admitted that yesterday. Yeah. I mean, in a good way. I thought his answer was pretty good on the injury front. If let me see if I can pull it up. I'll read it to the people real quick, so that they have an understanding of what Howie had to say. Let's see if I can find it. It was on your Twitter, right? Yeah. So Howie was on Mad Dog Radio with Adam Sheen, and he said, "This is, I quote, I think the first thing is the medical part of it. And from our perspective, that starts with, I'm not a doctor. I never went to medical school. So for us, that's got to start with our medical staff. And they have a ton of information as a medical staff about what we feel in the player, what other teams feel in the players. They get to share medical information. And so obviously he's coming off a surgery, and we know that. But we look at the draft as a long-term vision for our team. We don't look at it. We don't look like what's going to happen the day training camp starts. We look at it in the short term and the long term, and we feel like over the long term, this guy is going to be playing the same level of football that he was playing at the University of Alabama, and we will do whatever we can to get him right as quickly as possible. Let's get him. And then he brought up Cooper DeJean and how Cooper didn't play any training camp last year. And obviously everybody doesn't talk about that because of how good of a season.
I talked about it. I talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
I talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, John did. But so Howie, that was what he had to say about John Campbell. So we'll see how it all shakes out with Jihad. I do think it's a good point by you. And no, I think you're right. He will not be ready for week 1, but we will see what happens. Let's go to our main man, Johnny Mac. John Stolness going to join us here on the show post NFL draft. Haven't talked to John in a little bit. He joins us right now here on Birds 3.